Vida.
Welcome back to the show. We're so excited today. We have with us super special guests, Camille Rosen and Julio Viera. Julio Viera, that might sound familiar to you guys. That's my husband. Yes, I deal with him every day in my life. And Camille, you and I actually met, well, today, but we were acquainted through a gift exchange, right?
Yes, Secret Sister.
Secret Sister. Have you ever done that?
No.
It's basically like Secret Santa, but you don't know who the people are in the whole world. Like the other people on Instagram. Just
and again,
connected us.
To the listeners who are listening, and to Miss Camille, who is new here, Julie used to have the no new friends, but she's always the one bringing in friends.
I thought she was really cool,
to my truth last week when I said it. No, and it's cool. I'm fine with new friends. It's just funny because that used to be Julie's philosophy. No new friends. Who's this new friend you got? And then she was always bringing in the new friends. She's funny.
Well, no. See what happened.
She's like a very supportive, like female empowerment, woman empowerment, and then so it's funny.
Yeah, so we're accepting Camille to the friendship, y'all.
Appreciate
Welcome.
that.
So excited that you're here. So, you guys, before we get too far into the show, because I know some of the hosts, aka Chantel, and maybe one of the guests, a little intimidated by the roses of the week. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our roses. And I was hoping, Chantel, you would go first with your roses.
So I'm gonna be a bad example because I really this week don't. I feel like you know what? I got one. See,
you do this every week. I don't have one. Actually, I do.
Because I thought I was going to come in and say that I don't have anybody this week. I didn't really go anywhere. I didn't do anything. But to think about it, my son went back to karate.
Oh.
So shout out to Amerikick, Northeast Philly. During the time that he was away, and he was away because I finished to get my degree, and then Chris was also teaching at night, so nobody could take Nehemiah to these classes. And we finally took him back, but before we took him back, I keep saying this, back, they would send us postcards with, like, encouragement to Nehemiah, like, we miss you, please come back, and then the sensei would sign it. They would. Like, it was, like, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. So when he returned, it was a lot of, Nehemiah, nice to see you, bud. Hey, how you doing? High five. And, like, a lot of encouragement for him. So I just want to shout out to them. They also just had a spot on CBS.
Okay. So they're
or ABC
legit.
Because they also have a program once a week for children with special needs. And that's where they were highlighted for. And it looked really dope. It was on their Instagram page. So shout out to Sensei Mark, Alicia, Steve, and Lahai for their encouragement and working with the children really well.
Shout outs to you for remembering all their names.
Yeah,
Seriously?
I'm kind of good with it sometimes.
First of all, she's like, I don't have a shout out, and then it's this beautiful shout out with a whole story.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so my roses this week. Wow, I should have really given this thought because I talked to everyone about how they should have their roses.
You know what? Gave me a beating today with the chancleta about saying, no, I'm joking.
I would like to give my roses to Camille for doing this for the first time, being so willing, not even really knowing me, and I'm not gonna lie.
walking up those stairs.
Right, I was just gonna say that. I'm not gonna lie.
Head, like,
it is so shady when you first walk into our studio, you guys. Like, you have to go to the back of this, like, really, like, shady
studio
warehouse.
Yes, warehouse-ish.
And it's all, anyway, shout out to you. Super excited that you're here. We're gonna learn about who Camille is, but I'm really excited that you came.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We won't put you on the spot again.
But we'll put Julio on the spot.
Julio.
I was going to say ladies first. I was going to be a gentleman.
It's 2020.
No,
It's like, no,
no.
joking.
Yeah, right?
Camille doesn't want to be on the
That's
spot.
fine. That's fine. Going with the theme of the month, and seeing as yesterday was Valentine's Day, I feel it's only appropriate. The
Oh, it's
roses
about to get
of
cheesy.
mine,
Here we go.
Yep, goes to
Pull out
my
the
wife,
tissues.
Julie.
Aww.
Definitely. But no, definitely, now that I have the platform, I definitely want to say how proud I am of the things that she's done, especially with the challenges and obstacles that she faces on a daily basis. I don't get the chance to do that very often in the public eye, so I'm obviously going to take that opportunity today. So, shout out to you.
That's cute.
He's so corny. He's like, no, that was cute. I'm joking. I'm just trying
Stop
to make
hating.
light.
Stop
I'm just
hating.
trying to make light of it.
Thank
It was
you, my
cute,
love.
though.
I
It was nice.
appreciate
That was
that.
really nice.
And Camille.
Well, I was going to shout you all out.
We're so corny and even love it.
Yeah, just thanks for having me. I already feel very good energy coming from you all.
Oh, yay.
Awesome.
Oh, my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, so all of you are probably wondering what our theme of the week or of the week. I'm like, why am I saying a week? It's only one day, but
This airs again, right?
It's going to air again on Wednesday. Is going to be health and wellness. So for that, we have recruited 2 senseis of health and wellness. Super excited to have Julio here, who has a master's in public health, works at Temple Hospital, has a lot of experience on the administrative side of health, and Camille, who is, do you call yourself a health coach?
Correct, a holistic health
A
coach.
holistic health coach, and we don't play, you guys. She said holistic, so we're not here prescribing all kind of crazy stuff and getting crazy. Like, these are things you can apply to your real life every day. So, Julio, can you start off by telling us a little bit about who you are in your words? I know I gave a little bit of a synopsis, but...
Yeah, absolutely. So currently I work in financial service at Temple Hospital, but my background is in public health. I do have a master's, it's in health informatics, and I got my bachelor's in public health, and I'm actually just about to finish my MBA. So holistic health is very important to me, so I'm interested to see what Camille has to say as well. But my journey has been continuous. So with graduating from Temple with a bachelor's in public health, I started my journey at that time, and we'll get through it throughout the show today, but it's been continuous, and to this day I've lost 100 pounds.
Yes. We didn't say that he ate 3 kindergartners when we first started dating.
And that's like, she's not even exaggerating. You did a really, really good job.
Thank you.
His mom always jokes that he has to love me forever because I loved him when he was, she says the F word, fat, but I don't really use that word.
Yeah, my mom is not very polite with
Yes,
those.
she is.
Politically correct.
Yeah.
Politically correct, but she's very polite.
She does not mince words.
Right, there's that.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Yes. How about you, Camille? Can you tell us more about yourself in your words?
Sure. Sure. So I used to be a chef. That's actually what I got my degree in. Culinary arts and food service management, and I was working so many hours a week, it was ridiculous, on salary, in restaurants, on my feet all day, super toxic environment, and I noticed, how unhealthy it was, and I was like 40 pounds overweight at the time. I've lost and kept that off since then.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Thank you. And that's when I enrolled in Institute for Integrative Nutrition for health coaching, and I really dove deeper into it and was able to just really apply everything to myself, and now I help other people kind of do the same.
Oh.
Yeah, addressing self-love, self-care, and mindset.
Right. I love that. And I love that because both of you are in this field because you have a personal passion for it, and so that means a lot. Chantel, you as a mom tend to give me a lot of advice about self-care in terms of mental health. So I'm looking for that perspective from you today, especially considering you live with therapists. So we'll be the voice today.
Smile and wave.
Solid wave to Chris. Shout out to you. Okay, so before we get started, we're just going to play a little bit of a game. And it's a quiz that I found, honestly,
I did not know this.
Me neither.
Should I be nervous?
Me either. No, just kidding. And it's just, gonna address misconceptions and certain things that we might think about wellness and food and diet culture and things like that, but also open up a can of worms for us to talk about, what you guys can teach us from this. Okay, so we have 4 minutes in this section left. Let's get started. If you're hungry prior to going to bed at night, what is the best choice if you want to gain muscle and lose fat? Okay, the first is grilled skinless chicken breast. The second is a bowl of pasta. The third is cheeseburger, candy bar, or slice of pizza.
This is easy.
It's easy? Okay, what do we say?
Easy, but okay. And then everybody's going to be like, no, you're wrong. I would go with the chicken breast.
Okay, I'm gonna click that, y'all.
And the first options was, you said, if you want to build muscle
And lose fat.
and lose fat. Okay.
Good job, you guys. Okay, so
I thought I wasn't going to be able to answer it, though.
Protein.
Yeah, I got nervous myself.
I know it
It
gets
cheeseburger,
confusing.
candy bar. I was like, all right.
Don't doubt.
Well, but when it said candy bar, I was like, okay, now you're just like slapping
Clearly
me in
not.
the face. Okay, what one item should you remove from a sandwich if you want to reduce your overall calorie intake? Onion, tomato, cheese, lettuce, or pickles?
Cheese.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, good job, you guys. Okay, so what I'm learning already is that we have inherent knowledge of, health and wellness. Which cardiovascular exercise burns the most calories in 1 hour? stair stepper, stationary bike, swimming, jogging at a 12-minute per mile pace, and jumping rope.
Swimming. Oh, I guess. Sorry, you said let you try.
Oh,
to answer.
no, wait. I'm torn between swimming and jumping rope.
I was,
Okay.
I was looking for a hit routine, but none of them sound like any hit
The only reason why,
routines.
the only reason why I'm going with swimming is because you're using every part of your body, as opposed to jump rope. You're mainly just using your legs.
Nah, you gotta use your core there.
Well,
and
yeah,
the arms get tired.
you do, but overall,
So we have swimming and
it's either between swimming or jumping rope.
I don't know.
Jumping rope.
Is it jumping rope?
Yes, it is.
That's surprising.
That was a hard question. It says
I was getting persuaded.
only 35. Yeah, because you came up with jumping rope on your
Yeah,
own.
no, you go.
Only 35% of people get that question right. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more. The main building blocks of lean muscle are 1. Carbohydrates, fiber, protein, fat, sugar.
Wait, what is it? This is a true or false?
The main building block of lean muscles are carbs, fiber, protein, fat, or sugar. You got to pick one.
I feel like it's protein.
Okay, we're getting nods all around the table. And that one's correct. Wow. That's what the quiz says.
Wow.
And which is the best source of vitamin E? Beans, almonds, broccoli, or olive oil?
I'm gonna let y'all take this one.
I want to say almonds.
What were the other options?
Beans, broccoli, olive oil, or almonds.
Yeah, I would go with almonds.
And that's correct. You already said that because Camille said it.
No, I was between beans and almonds, and I was like,
No, that
nah.
was good. I wouldn't have gotten that one correct. All exercise is equally heart healthy if done for more than 30 minutes, 4 or more times per week. True or false?
For more than 30 minutes?
All exercise?
Wait, what'd you say?
Is equally heart healthy. So I guess like good for your cardiovascular system. Should you do that 30 minutes 4 times a week?
I mean, you want to do that, but wouldn't say they're equal.
I'm going to say they're equal.
I wouldn't say they're equal. At least that's my personal opinion.
Okay. Okay, we're going to say false.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Nice.
I was gonna go with
Very
true,
good.
so I was like, let me just.
I was just listening.
No, because you can do 30 minutes of walking. That's not the same as 30 minutes of hit.
True.
That's
Which
fair.
you really shouldn't do 30 minutes of hit anyway. But
True.
that's aside.
How many calories do you need to burn to lose 1 pound of fat? 500, 1250, 2000, or 3500?
This I don't remember.
To lose 1 pound of fat.
You don't remember?
Or
We
that's
can go
go to
with
the Googles?
35.
Yeah, 3,500.
Okay, and that was correct. You guys, nicely done. I am so excited.
Public health comes
We
in
clearly
there.
have some professionals around the table because we got all the questions right as a team. You know,
Right.
there was that one with a little issue. So
Right.
I just wanted you guys to have a little bit more street cred on the table. Come back after this break because after this break, we're going to be talking about the tips that you guys can give us based off of your knowledge of weight loss.
Boom, 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 boom.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
$150/90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
Hey, besties, welcome back to the show. Shout out to DJ Dub G. We've got Dylan as our engineer today. So excited. Always a win.
My sound,
yes, the air horn
yeah.
was great. Dylan, are we going to work on getting an air horn for the studio? I think we need one.
I can make that happen.
I know, okay. We need like sound effects, DJ Dylan.
So shout out to Dylan. Thank you guys for being here. We also have Camille and Julio here in the studio with Chantel and I, where we are talking about health and wellness in a holistic approach. What you guys may or may not have known is that between the two people sitting across from Chantel and I today, there have been 140 pounds lost. That's an entire adult human being.
It's weird, crazy hearing it like that. But
that's true. That's how much I weighed in college.
Right?
So before I got pregnant.
I only weighed 115 in college, friend. Because remember, I didn't have any boobies. Oh. So
okay,
wow, this went left.
So we're there now, and we've crossed that threshold. So you guys, I just want to hear about your stories and how you made this happen. So we're gonna start with Camille this time. Camille, how did you do that? How did you?
Ladies first.
How did you embark on that journey?
Well, I realized when I was fed up with the industry that I had to make changes in my life, especially to my career area. And so just the more that I became educated on everything, the more I just started to implement it myself. And
knowledge is power, y'all.
Absolutely. That's one of my slogans.
Yes, very true. And I remember doing the first Circle of Life wheel. And the Circle of Life wheel has things like relationships, home environment, home cooking, physical activity, joy, relationships, all types of different things in there. And I had never looked at my health from that zoomed out perspective and noticed that it wasn't whole. It wasn't holistic. It was very off. And so I knew where I needed to make changes.
Okay, so I feel some type of way because I have never heard of the Circle of Life wheel. And I feel like you have just changed my life that quickly. So I looked it up. It says self-image. Girl, that's why these affirmations are so powerful for us. Career, finance, health, social, family, love, recreation, contribution, and spirituality. Is that the same?
Almost. It's
almost. Okay, so there's like variations.
Yes.
Business, finances, health, family, friends.
Education.
Y'all, there's all kinds of stuff on these personal.
That's interesting. It's almost like it builds off Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I guess that would make sense.
Some parts, obviously, there's some parts that are different.
Okay, so I want to look more into this. I like that romance is a part of that. Because there's a difference between love and romance. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the Greek, I don't know, ancient Greeks, they have 4 words for love, and one is for, that romantic love, and one is for when you do an act out of love, and others for family and friends, and I forget what the other one may be, passion. But I think it's completely relevant for this. Super cool. So you said you lost 40 pounds. Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to do that?
I can't remember exactly, but maybe it was like 2 or 3 months. It was pretty quick.
Wow. Yeah. Now, you didn't say that.
You're pretty disciplined.
She didn't say that.
Person, then.
That changes everything. That's like losing 100 then.
But I wasn't checking the scale constantly. It's when I stopped thinking about that, I was like, I just want to feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
2 months. Okay. Julio. But I have so many questions. But we're going to hear your story. How did you embark on this journey?
So when I went to college, I had a lot of poor eating habits. And in our culture, it's the foods we eat don't help our overall health. So I went into college a little bit overweight to begin with. And as I went through college and eating what they call fourth meal and takeout all the time and unlimited meal plans as an RA, I ballooned up to 300 pounds. I was 298 essentially. And with the bachelor's, finishing college with the bachelor's in public health, I felt very hypocritical. How am I going to go out and preach health to others when I clearly was not embodying that? So my senior year of college, I began what I consider my health journey. I started eating much better. I literally gave my meal plan card to you, my wife.
That's true,
and she used it. Thankfully, probably a little bit of corruption, but the cafeteria people didn't really care, so they knew her from me.
I was hungry, y'all.
But no, so I started making my own meals at home. I started juicing. I started doing a little bit of fasting.
I forgot about your juicing.
Yeah, so juicing helped a lot. But then I started doing P90X and Insanity, and that was the beginning of it. Similarly, at first, like Camille, I lost about 40 pounds pretty quickly, especially being that large, so you were able to lose a lot of the water weight, a lot of excess fat immediately, and as I lost more weight, it became a little bit more challenging to continue to lose weight. So I had to. I'm not gonna lie, I had some setbacks. I've gained weight, I've lost weight, but overall, I've been able to be consistent and continue with it. And there's a lot of factors, and what I would recommend to anybody is you have to find what your motivation is and what continues to push you to be a better you. And a lot of that is the people around me. I want to be healthy. I want to live a long life to make sure that I'm able to provide for those that I care about.
Right.
So I use that as my motivation, and then I'm always striving for personal improvement. And I know that holistic health is part of that. So it's not, like Camille said, it's not so much to me anymore about how much weight I lose. It's how healthy I want to be. It's not so much a number on the scale. I've hit the 100-pound mark, which I'm extremely proud of, and I'm happy I did that. But at this point of my journey, I want to have overall good health as opposed to just losing weight.
Right, holistic.
You want to feel good.
Yeah, correct.
I want to ask something to you, Camille, and Julio, you can follow up I know that off air we already talked about like lifestyle as far as the word that how we use diet is incorrect, but your lifestyle choices in food. What are the misconceptions that people have about being a plant-based eater? It's boring, all that stuff. Can you tell us what maybe a typical day of eating plant-based looks like, and how maybe fun it can be?
Get out my head!
Because knowing that you're a trained chef.
Yes.
And then the people don't know yet, but I'm getting ready to let the cat out the bag. Before we started, you let us know that you live on a farm.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And this is a bougie farm, y'all. So if you can tell us what is grown on this farm, and then what does it look like as far as your eating.
Okay.
And then after you're done, we're gonna pass that to Julio. You're the meat eater, but what does it look like to eat healthy and still have fun with the eating?
Yeah. Okay. So the bougie farm.
The bougie farm
contains lavender as our main crop, obviously.
Stop it.
Obviously.
Very
See, this
zen.
is why we decided it's bougie.
Mm-hmm. And then saffron and garlic are the secondary crops.
I could live there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I use garlic in everything, guys.
I love garlic too.
Favorite.
It's amazing, and it's vegan. So a typical day of eating, I have a smoothie pretty much every morning, and I put lots of peanut butter in there, frozen bananas, nut milk, cinnamon, like vegan protein powder, hemp seeds. It's very filling for me. Okay. I honestly don't need to eat until the afternoon after I eat that.
Okay.
I'm very full. And then I'll probably have some kind of grain bowl with like roasted veggies that I had prepped, and I'll put like hummus, avocado, olives. Like, I don't know. I'm an olive fiend, so.
We were joking because Camille's favorite food is olives and Julio's least favorite is olives. So they're so different.
Yeah,
They're complete opposites.
That's an understatement. I hate olives.
Yeah, well, you'll learn maybe, but
I like olive oil.
Tell them, girl.
It's an acquired taste, maybe. For dinner, I'll do something fun. Sometimes I'll make like vegan lasagna. I like to experiment a lot with like making my own nut cheeses and.
That's right, the chef in you.
Yeah.
Is it hard? Is it something
I was getting ready to ask if that was difficult.
Nut cheeses?
Nut cheeses.
Yeah, like
That's
you can
what
make
she
vegan
said.
ricotta with tofu and nutritional yeast, lemon juice, onions, garlic.
I'm gonna have to have you make that for me.
That's what I was gonna say. Can we like invite ourselves to your
Yeah.
farm for a night of
We need to hire Chef Camille.
Yeah.
For
Let's have a dinner
day.
party.
Yes.
I'm down. We like to cook too, but obviously it might not be as good as what
She
you.
said it on air, you guys, so I will be holding her to that dinner party.
I'm down.
We'll let you guys know how it is. Well,
Yes.
Julie will.
Yeah.
You try it though.
No, I'm gonna know. I'm saying I won't be back to tell them.
Oh yeah,
At least as quickly as
So I'm
Julie
like,
will.
wait, just
But
because you're
I'm-
meat eater
No, I'm
doesn't
gonna
mean
try
you
it.
can't eat
No, I eat
vegan.
everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
yeah, he
olives.
eats everything.
Yeah.
He'll probably like order a rotisserie chicken on the side or something. He's awful when it comes to
Wow.
like when it
I'll
comes to
respect
having a meal without
home.
meat.
My family does the same thing. I honestly, it is what it is.
And the last question I'm gonna ask you before we jump to Julio is, how long does it like typically take you in the kitchen? Because then there's this thoughts of all this food prep and.
I think it's different for me because like I've done it professionally, so I'm pretty quick.
Okay.
With like I clean as I go, everything is da-da-da. But
Exactly, da-da-da.
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 Probably like 30 minutes for me to make things.
Wow,
So-
including these nut cheeses. Is everybody
Oh, it
else
depends.
past
It
that
depends.
nut cheese thing right
No,
now?
I'm still. That's why I had to pause and ask because I love cheese.
Yeah.
If there's a healthier alternative that tastes somewhat equivalent, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
you don't understand how huge that is for this ethnocentric being.
Wow. Let me say, it's much better when you make it at home than if you buy it in the store.
Because I've tried vegan store brand cheese.
Forget. I mean, personally, tofu
I've
is
had
not
cashew
for me.
cheese one time in a restaurant.
I've never had that.
It was really yummy.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Julio, you might have been awakened today.
Well, I mean, I'm open to try new things, and I'm a believer that you should try anything at least once. And yes, I've had olives, and that's how I know I don't like them.
There's different kinds.
There are different kinds, but so for me, it's the way I guess I do my diet now. I do intermittent fasting now, and I've been doing that for a while, and it's worked well. It works well for me, but I would say that it's important to understand your body and how you diet, how you quote unquote diet, but you don't want that to be the only thing that you're doing. So obviously incorporating a lot of things on the side, but obviously we're touching on just the diet at the moment or food at the moment. So what I try to do is lower the carb intake. So we actually Julie and I were talking about this earlier this week, that I want to get more veggies to substitute some of the carbs, and then obviously have quinoa as a part of it, or cauliflower rice, that kind of thing. Because carbs are great, and you do need them for some type of recovery if you're working out a lot, but carbs turn into sugar, and a lot of sugar obviously is not bad for you. It's not good for you, excuse me.
Right.
You don't want that to add to your sugar intake without realizing it. And
I think people don't realize there's carbs in certain vegetables and stuff.
Yeah. And there's simple carbs and then complex carbs,
correct.
and you need to know what you're doing with.
There is a lot that goes into it.
Camille's getting ready to spit some knowledge. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's gonna happen.
There's a lot that goes into it, but you want to. The idea behind eating healthy, especially from a public health perspective, the more colorful your plate is, the better it is.
So you don't want necessarily empty carbs, like a lot of breads, pastas, all that stuff.
Because all they're white carbs, and they're not naturally white to begin with. So that means they went through a bleaching process in order to be healthy and sustainable to get to your plate, which great in our industrial environment that we're in, but it's not essentially good for your body.
So we should stop living off of rice and beans, maybe.
Yeah, this shouldn't be the main item of your diet.
I'm going to eat my rice and beans.
Brown rice. Yep,
rice.
Brown rice.
We love some brown rice.
That's why
I do too.
That's why it's healthier.
And my mom, as a Puerto Rican, is like, I cannot cook arroz with brown rice.
My mom struggles cooking brown rice too, because she feels like it takes a little longer. If you put extra rice and then you bring it up to boiling, you could do it way faster.
Oh no, it does take longer, but it's because it has not been as processed.
Yep. So let's talk about our diets a little bit more in the next section, and then we also want to have this holistic mindset. So I want to know what your ideology is behind having a fulfilled life, Camille. So stick with us, you guys. Just after this break, we're going to get lit. I meant to say enlightened.
Enlightened.
First of all, I was like, okay.
Are we taking shots or something? Saturday, right?
I don't think everyone on the other end is probably like...
About to party like a rock star, right? Saturday morning. So do you drink?
Occasionally. When I lost weight, I cut down on that.
Because there's a lot of, obviously it's hard to drink alcohol, beer, I should say, because there's a lot of beers that are not vegan. I like whiskey, yeah, I don't like tequila. I'm a whiskey person.
There's this. They have coconut water, which is delicious. The best coconut water I've ever had. They also have a tequila infused one. But you have to, in order to communicate, it has to be in your store. So you have to, tell your store.
Make your emergency plan today.
So you're going to bring that to the dinner party?
Yeah. You know, if I can find it in the store, yes. We have this dinner party, that's what I'm going to bring.
I'll bring you Don Julio.
Yeah.
Hey besties, welcome back. Today we are talking health, we are talking wellness, we are talking about holistic lifestyles of, just happy and healthiness. So we have with us Julio, Camille, and DJ Dub G on the tunes. Thanks for being with us, Dylan. So I just want to take a second before we hop back into our program today to talk about opportunities for sponsorship. Here at the Vida show, we have an audience catered to 18 to 35, generally millennials, and we are so excited to share our audience with you. So if you want to reach that audience here in the Philadelphia region or 80 countries to which we broadcast, please reach out to us at contact@vieravida.com, because we will get you an opportunity to either do commercials, come on the show, or participate in other media opportunities.
I just got a text. They heard our whole conversation over the commercial. So they know that you meant to say enlightened, and they know about this 100 coconuts with the tequila.
You guys, now you get to see the real us, and it's pretty much exactly as it is on air. At least they know we're real, you guys.
At least we,
and at least they know that I meant enlightened.
And good thing we didn't say nothing crazy.
Seriously.
Well, yeah, generally crazy stuff happens. The funny part is I love that they commented that, because a lot of times we'll have a really enlightened conversation over the commercial, and then we'll repeat it during air because we're like, people need to know this.
Yes.
Okay, so we left out, and I just want to wrap up this segment about food because there's so much more when it comes to health and lifestyle. But we were wrapping up talking about, what like a daily life in terms of a vegan looks like with Camille. Camille is plant-based. She mostly eats a vegan lifestyle. Julio, you are the most carnivorous of men I have ever met. Tell me about what a healthy routine looks like for somebody. It's a true statement, y'all.
I'm excited to feed you.
Yay! Feed
Thanks.
I don't know if you guys are able to do it now, but I remember this was like some years ago. This is pre-children for me, right? And Nehemiah's going to be 5 this year. And I remember Julie and I were talking. She was like, I would love to do meatless Mondays. Mm-hmm. Julio's not going for it. Yeah. Like, this was years ago. So now you're probably a little different.
Well, we were doing it for a while.
So for 2 or 3 years in a row, with our church, we did the Daniel fast, which I did it and I participated in it.
You did a really good job.
About the same. Like, so it doesn't.
I felt like I was gonna die.
So the food was great, and Julie did amazing things in the kitchen with the different recipes. So the food was no issue at all. I just love meat, and I think it's one of the healthier proteins that exist if you do it right. Obviously, I'm not telling people to overindulge and be gluttonous with how much meat you're eating, but it is, especially red meat. Red meat is good for you. There's
so many misconceptions about red meat, I think. Most people don't think it's good for you.
I would say the amount that you're consuming. And the red meat, what most people consider red meat. I'm not talking about a burger from Wendy's.
Right.
That's red meat. I'm talking about a steak, making steak at home, or veal, one of the healthiest proteins that I love the most. This is my culture coming out, but goat.
Yeah,
goat
we love some goat.
Goat is one of the best meat proteins that exist, and they're the animals that are pretty much, they're vegans, and we're not.
Yeah.
They're not eating other animals.
I was just playing like Carly Contrary. We're not saying devil's advocate anymore. But actually, my doctor recommends that I eat a lot of red meat, and a lot of women suffer from anemia. So red meat, dark leafy greens, and things like that help a lot. And just with my blood disorders, it tends to be really helpful for me.
So from what I would recommend to anyone is to test out what different things would work for you. You don't want to just take my advice for it, because this is what's worked for my body, and I have 30 years living in it, that I'm able to say that I've tested out quite a few things to know what works for me. Figure out what works best for you. If you want to try it for a few weeks and go vegan for a few weeks, try it. I've done it, and I know that that's not what I want to do continuously. It's the truth.
And every stage of life is different. You know about bio-individuality.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you speak more on that?
Yes, I want to hear more.
For me?
Yes.
Bio-individuality.
Yes. That just means that what works for one person might not necessarily work for another person. That's what we learn in school. Mm-hmm. I do think that everyone can benefit from plants. I don't feel like we need to argue that part.
No.
Right.
I'm definitely not arguing
totally.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap up the food section hearing your advice, your food advice, and then we're going to go into a different section of health.
Well, cooking for me is really an act of self-care and self-love, and I like to preach that to other people. So I say experiment in the kitchen. Like, I'm all about intuitive cooking. Basically, every night is, like, chopped. If I don't plan it out, it's like, okay, let's go. But, yeah, make your plate colorful and enjoy the food that you're eating.
Nice. I feel like that's solid advice, and it's something we can apply right away.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was going to ask her for a tip, but I feel like making your plate colorful. So what's one of the easiest ways a person who can maybe start to make their plate more colorful? Say somebody who maybe doesn't like greens. What's something they can do, like anything green, broccoli, anything green. What can they do to season that up a little bit?
Okay.
To maybe start enjoying it.
3 things to make food more exciting, I always say, is herbs, fresh herbs, acids like lemon juice, vinegar, whatever, and then spices and seasonings. If you put those 3 things a combination that you like, you're going to spice up your food and it's going to be a lot more exciting.
Wow, she got that down to a science. I feel like she just
I
wrote a blog post.
I feel like we've done that and we just don't have a saying for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also like greens and stuff.
Oh, no, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's
like
move on to, we're talking about physical, we're talking about food, well-being, but I want to hear about other aspects of our well-being, right? And so something that we talk about a lot on the show is our emotional self and, just how we feel in our skin and self-love. And so I wanted to hear both of your tips. Julio, I find you to be really admirable in the sense that you are very comfortable in your skin, and I find myself caring too much what other people think. So when it comes to self-love, how do you create that mindset? Because it's something that I don't naturally have, for example.
Yep. So I guess it comes from, for me personally, from at a young age having to take a dominant role in the household. So it might not necessarily always be that I'm even inwardly confident, but what's ingrained in my mind as from childhood is don't show that to the world. So while I may not feel confident inside, nobody will ever know that. So it's being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I mean that to the fullest. And whether when I first started going to the gym, trying different things, going to school, being obviously involved in so many different things, you're going to be doing things you're not necessarily comfortable with, but you got to be comfortable with that. In order to improve, you have to go through change, and that change is not always going to be comfortable. So I guess I've become okay with making mistakes and trying new things and rebounding and reaching out for help when I don't know the answers to things. Yes, I'm stubborn, but overall I would say that I definitely seek the help that I need when I need it. And in terms of my emotional health, working out has benefited tremendously. Like, it's one of my stress relievers. If you know better than anybody, when I don't work out, I have a bad mood. Like, I need to work out because that helps.
In 10 years, y'all. I think I know now.
No, and absolutely. And mental health is absolutely important. Right. I recommend to people, even if you think everything is perfect in your life, to go to therapy once a week, just to bounce ideas off somebody else that's a neutral party. I think those things are important to everybody's holistic health.
Nice. And Camille, you were talking about acts of self-love when you mentioned that that's what you enjoy to do when you're cooking for yourself. What advice would you give to somebody who maybe isn't great in the kitchen to practice self-love?
So another form of it, you're saying?
Right.
Another form of self-love. I mean, there's so many things you can do. I constantly buy myself flowers.
Oh.
That's so nice. I always have fresh flowers in my room. I always encourage people to have a joy menu, and they put it on their fridge. So it's a bunch of things they do that bring them joy, and just to make sure you're ticking off one of those things each day. So that's going to be personal to you. For me, I always have flowers, or if I go on a walk, that's an act of self-love for me because I feel good doing
menu.
it. Yes.
I love how she just glanced over that. That's
pretty cool.
Super Oprah of you.
Thank you. I wish.
I can't help but ask, can't you just pick the flowers on your farm?
We don't have any growing right now.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's winter.
Well,
it's PA.
I'm thinking
but
year
lavender
round.
is not maybe I like tulips better.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
And maybe you know the difference between tulips and lavender.
Exactly.
First of all,
This is the personal.
First of all,
oh gosh,
you
I'm
can
seeing shade.
you
It
can
got
go
really
ahead
dark
and
in
take
here.
that shade somewhere
Dylan,
else.
what happened to the lights in the studio?
For those that do not, there's some context to that statement.
Am I on the outside of this?
Yeah.
So am I.
Yep.
So am I.
So
Camille,
I will enlighten
I feel the shade as soon as it approaches.
everyone that is listening and here. So back in college, I wanted to surprise Julie.
Oh gosh.
And get her favorite flowers. I reached out to her long childhood friend and asked her childhood friend, "Hey, what are Julie's favorite flowers? I would love to get them for her." She said tulips and lilacs. I said, "Cool."
No. Oh, peonies is new. Never mind.
So I was like, "Fine." I went out, and these flowers are not cheap. Let me just, especially for college budget. Let me just make sure that is clear. I get her both of them, and that obviously some whatever decorations they do at florists. Kudos to them. I'm sorry, I don't know much about that. Yeah. I get them for her both, and she's like, "What are these?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? These are supposedly your favorite flowers, and you have no idea what they are?"
What had happened was they were closed. I'd never seen them closed before. So they looked like just little bulbs.
And in Julie's defense, this was college Julie.
Right.
You still have to live life and experience things and see things. So I feel you.
I went to Mount Hershey and homelessness. You don't buy flowers, okay?
And then see them closed.
And then if you get flowers, you don't buy them closed. Who has time to take care of them?
I'm just saying, if I say something is my favorite, I know what it is.
Well, I have been enlightened since, and I know how they look when they're closed and when they're open.
Yes.
Anyway, we
cultured.
were asking
She's a cultured
Camille
woman.
how she self-loves on herself. Okay? Ooh. So we digress.
Yeah, the joy menu sounds really, really cool.
I really like that idea. I really do. So how many things are on that joy menu? Because I'm going to go home. I'm going to challenge listeners to do this too. And I'm going to create a joy menu.
I would say as many things that bring you joy as you have.
There's no limit.
There's the limit
No
does
limit
not
to your,
exist.
Do you ever limit does not exist. Mean Girls.
I definitely didn't get that.
Yeah. Do you ever find a day that goes by where you're just like, man, I didn't look at this, didn't check anything off this joy menu today? Does that happen sometimes?
Mostly no.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. It's because I have a very solid morning routine, which is something I tell everyone to have.
Get out my head, because in the next section we're talking morning routines.
Oh,
super excited about this. So you guys, I am basically thinking about, what the synopsis of this section would be, and it's to make sure that your lifestyle is one that includes loving on yourself just as much as it would be work, passion, anything else, right?
I think, honestly, my opinion, Camille, you can let me know if you agree. I think you should love on yourself more than anything else. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't help anybody else.
Nope.
Ooh, you got to come with a full cup to your whole day.
Yeah.
So self-love is not selfish.
Not at all.
No.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, so just after this break, we're going to talk about morning routines. It's so funny that you just brought that up, Camille, because it is one of, I think, the most influential parts of changing your lifestyle. So let's talk about our miracle mornings just after this break.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps. Did Pete saying mean things bother ya?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Hey, besties. Welcome back to the Vida show. Chantel, are you getting ready to spit some bars for us?
This is my part. Ooh. Say.
If you should have a party.
Invited everybody.
So, the biggest. If you guys don't know, Chantel and I have our theme song as the Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend.
Yes.
And there is a remix.
Yes.
Going through the interwebs.
Yes, and if you were to like Google it, you would find it.
And Chantel and I sing it almost every
all the time. And you know what's funny? Do you know what I love about that? So this morning I was listening to something on YouTube, and there was like the commercial in between. You know, Liberty Mutual commercial.
Liberty.
And then the black guy be like,
he goes all extra.
Love it, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. I actually just saw that this time, and then everyone looks at him like, you're so extra.
And I'm like, yes, exactly. Embrace that extraness. I love it.
No, I love it.
Love it.
Oh, I love our tangents all the time, but we're gonna go back to health and wellness, you guys. So we have with us, if you're just tuning in, Julio Viera, a public health enthusiast and student, really, because you're constantly studying health and wellness.
Yeah.
An individual who has lost 100 pounds on his own, and we have Camille, who had been a professional chef, a holistic wellness coach, and she's lost 40 pounds and lives on a bougie farm.
Yes. Which we love it.
Yes. So you're caught
we
up.
say bougie farm in like positive lights.
Right. Bougie.
Yes.
Oh, we love bougie.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes,
so if you're just tuning in.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, oh, you're
Yes.
bougie.
They do.
Yeah. So that wasn't a negative bougie.
Why did
It was
my
like,
husband look so concerned?
He like had to make sure I knew.
yes,
It wasn't
they do.
offensive.
Before we move on, I actually got a comment. This is not on the YouTube page. It was sent to me via a text message from
you're
a
getting
listener.
privates.
Yeah, I got privates.
Oh, you're getting private. Let me see if I get any privates.
Okay, so this did come from Devin. You know what's interesting? My neighbor and I were talking Thursday about just learning for ourselves and how the world is so everything is okay and permissible, right? And she said she was trying to find ways for self-love and realized she couldn't find anything about self-love that the world keeps talking about. It's about loving your neighbor, and then she put in loving Abba Father, because my sister's also a Bible believer like I am, and Julie, and Julio, right? But couldn't find...
You're not going to ask Camille
Sorry.
this? Did you over here
I didn't want to just assume. Sorry.
I'm just listening. I want to hear what this
But she couldn't find this self-love message. So even though the word keeps talking about, like, you know, loving yourself, loving your neighbor, and loving, you know, what the world calls God, she couldn't find this self-love message. She just thought it was interesting. Yeah.
That
so
is really
thank you. It is interesting.
Not
and I'm
even,
sorry,
like,
Devin. I had to share that. I thought it was pretty
I feel
good.
like Psalms generally, I can find self-love messages in the Psalms. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And Proverbs.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess in the way I perceive that, which is definitely true, Devin, without a doubt. I agree with you. That's not much out there about loving yourself first, especially in the media. I think it's because of so much hate that has been in the world for so long that they're just trying to get people to get along before they handle anything else.
But if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love anyone else?
I think that's what you need to raise the whole vibration.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We need to be on a higher level, and that level is the one where you don't have to feel so insecure in yourself that you put others down. And I feel like that is one of our biggest flaws as a society.
But that is definitely a conversation that can probably take up more than just one show.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah.
is
We
that
can
is
talk about internet trolls.
Yeah.
that's
Yes,
it
we
gets
can.
deep. That gets deep.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that after we have our dinner with Camille.
Yeah.
But I just thought if I bring it up a bunch of times, nobody will forget.
Julie's not going to forget. I'm not worried.
Oh, I'm not going to forget. So we have a few minutes left, and I just want to hear about your morning routines and what they look like. Camille, you sound like you have one already really put together. Can we hear about it?
Yes. So first thing I do is meditate. You know, you really got to check in with yourself and have that outside noise blocked off every day, even if it's 2 minutes. And after that, I make like a cacao latte.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah.
A cacao latte.
A cacao latte, because we have the
bougie.
bougie farm. That's okay.
Wow.
And then I'll do a little,
I love bougie farms.
little journaling. And inside my journaling, I'll have like my gratitude and my
Yes.
affirmations and my goals all
What kind of
written
journal
down.
do you use?
It's nothing fancy.
You just do whatever.
It's just
I love
whatever.
it.
Yeah, whatever I got. I've gone through so many of them at this point. And then I read 5 pages of a book, or I listen to an audiobook. Either way, I got to keep my brain stimulated. And then after that, I do some form of movement. So the gym or a walk or even dancing around my room. Depends how much time I have.
I love the dancing part.
Yes. I love that. So mindfulness, mastery, and there's one more, meditation.
Sounds about right to me. Sounds good. Sounds real good.
Trying to make M's.
Meditation is like also my spiritual practice. So like I'll pray for people and like whatever during that period.
It's also a form of mindfulness.
I'm not religious, but I am spiritual, and it's a recent thing.
It's different.
Praying.
It's different. It
is.
I would consider myself more spiritual than religious.
How long were you always a person who just did routines, or did it take you a minute to get into routines and keep them, or is this just who you are as a person?
Definitely wasn't someone who was in routines before.
Can you speak on that? Because I'm not much of a routine person. Or I try to start them and then it's not like kept. I don't keep them.
Yeah, habit forming, that's a whole thing. But I would say there's different things. It depends on what kind of habit you want to form. Right now, we have a exercise tracker on our fridge for the month, and it's like me, my sister, and my dad are all on there. So you check the box for the day that you work out. And
Your
we're kind
fridge
of
sounds
competing
pretty
with each other.
Awesome.
You have a joy menu, a triangle.
Exactly. You put reminders on your phone. That's a good way to form a habit.
Nice.
But for me, I read a book, The Miracle Morning. It's funny you said Miracle Morning. And that book really changed. It's just because I'm starting my day that way, the rest of it has to follow suit.
It makes it so much easier.
Yes.
Honestly, the last one was movement, mindfulness, mastery, and movement.
Okay.
So if you take time for those 3 things. Julio, we have just over 1 minute. Can you tell us about your morning routine?
Yeah, thank you, because that is much more structured than what my morning routine is. Obviously, one of the most important things for me in the morning is working out. I'm an early riser, so my morning is definitely not as tedious as meditating and reading. I do like to listen to podcasts, and I do try to do that in the morning, at least 15 to 20 minutes. I try to do that on the way to work while I'm driving. So when I say early morning, I'm up usually by 5 a.m. I'm at the gym by 6. And then I have part of my routine is always ironing. I iron every morning, like literally every morning.
I choose my outfits based on.
I don't care what.
Not wrinkled.
I don't care what I'm wearing. Like literally, I've gotten made fun of for ironing sweatpants and everything. Like I just.
My mom's that person.
Yeah,
I understand.
I don't know why it's nostalgic to me. So that is part of like my morning routine. I have to iron something.
Yeah, even in college you were ironing.
Yeah, I always had an ironing board, and I always make sure. So I think that.
I heard he has a bougie iron.
Okay.
Oh yes, that's what he asked my mom for.
Seriously, I've literally, if anybody ever wants to give me a gift, give me a nice iron, and I will be happy.
So it sounds like creating habits and having a routine is really important. You guys, I am so excited that you came here today. I feel like we could have 10 more episodes, and it would be really, really great. But we're gonna have to wrap this one up today. Maybe we can have you back soon, and definitely you guys will be posting pictures on Instagram of our dinner.
Yes, and do you have an Instagram or social media anywhere anybody can follow you? You want to share your handle?
Instagram is my place, so it's at holistic HOLISTIC 2 underscores honey HONEY.
Oh, very cute, very nice.
You're never gonna give up honey.
It's my one
and
thing,
Julio
guys.
doesn't have social media, but you can find him posted all the time on mine.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for being here. We're so glad to have had you, and thank you, Dylan, for being our engineer today.
Thank you for having us.
We will talk to you next week.